I'm using Visual Studio Code as my code editor. You can use any code editor you want. This is the one that I'm supporting because it's the one that we're using across campus for all of our web and programming classes for the web. If you have something else to use, you're welcome to use it. I just don't support it. If you're using Visual Studio Code, we're going to start by adding a workspace folder. So I'm going to go into my documents section, and I actually have JavaScript here, so I'm just going to choose add, or I could have created a new folder there. So now JavaScript is in my workspace. When I select JavaScript, I'm going to add a new folder. Each project that we do will get its own folder. This is project 2, and I tend to use hyphens. You can use hyphens or underscores, or you can just skip it and have project and 2 right next to each other. Do not use spaces. Every project will have at least one file, and it will have at least an index.html. You will probably have other files in most of your projects, but for this particular one, we just need index.html. Please make sure index is lowercase. By naming it index, that will open by default. And that gets us started. Now, we're using Emmet, E-M-M-E-T, which is built into Visual Studio Code, but it can be downloaded and added to most other editors. It lets us do a lot of things really fast, and in the lesson there's a link to a cheat sheet as far as Emmet commands. My favorite one is simply exclamation point and then hit tab. That puts in the whole page structure for you for your web page. And I'm just going to put this in as student. You'd put in your name here. Project 2. Now we really haven't gotten much into JavaScript, so I'm just going to use that date code that's given to you in the lynda.com videos that are with this lesson. But in the body section, we're going to have an H1 tag, and that will just be my first JavaScript. And an H2 tag. Notice here I'm typing H2. I don't put the brackets in, I just hit tab. The closing brackets and the initial brackets are put in for me. And I'll put in my name. I want you to do pretty much the same thing. And then I'm going to add the JavaScript tag, which will just be script, after the body. And you can put it either before in the head or after the body, depending on when you want it to load. This is going to load at the end. Inside the script, we're going to create a date variable, and we'll call it date. So we're just declaring it as a variable. Var is just any variable. It's loosely typed. It can contain anything. And we're going to create an instance of the object date. And you know it's an object because we're using new. Now this is a variable that we can use. And then we're going to add this to our page using the code document.body. And we're working through the DOM here. We're starting at the document level, we're going into the body, and then we're going to go into inner HTML. And then we're going to add the code so we'll put in our H1, and this one we have to actually type it out. Today is, then we're going to make sure we have a space here, plus date, that's our variable which we're grabbing right from here, and then we'll close our tags. Now to test this, the first thing that you're going to have to do is save it. And then you can go into File Explorer, into the folder. So you can follow the path here, JavaScript, project 2, index.html. And it has the HTML here. JavaScript's not working. Because I have an error there. I put in my semicolon, I save it, I come back over, and I refresh, and then this gives me the date and time. So you're going to get that code done, and then we're going to, in the next steps, upload it to both to cPanel using FileZilla, and then we're going to upload it to GitHub using the web interface, which is very easy to use. You're welcome to use any other way you'd like to get to GitHub. You can use their desktop or their terminal interface.